Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. I'm glad to be back in effect, ladies and gentlemen. It's been seemed like a kind of a long all-star break. But neither here nor there, we are back in effect. Only 27 games or something like that left to the season. We're going to see what the Knicks are and what they do and what the strategy is for the remainder of the season. You know what I'm saying? Aladdin Saddam, you said you're listening all the way from Kansas City, Missouri. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for listening in, man. Appreciate that. But we're going to see what the Knicks do. You know, what's the strategy now? The All-Star break is finally gone. It's over with. Slick Wicked Films, Silica Wicked Films. Appreciate you, my friend. Gammo, Triple G. What's up with you guys? But what's the strategy now? After the All-Star break, 27 games left to the season. No doubt about it, in my mind, in your mind, or anybody else's mind, the Knicks are most likely not going to be in the playoffs. How does Mike Miller approach the season? How does Mike Miller deal with everything that's going to be going on from now to the end of the season? As far as, you know, who's going to be the coach of the New York Knicks? You know, who are the Knicks, you know, looking at? Who is Leon Rose looking at? Steve Stout, James Dolan, all of that stuff. All of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? What's the deal with it? I mean, so far, it seems like Mike Miller, he's done a decent job dealing with all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Listen, what he does is he keeps it to basketball, ladies and gentlemen. He keeps it to basketball. That's what I respect about that guy. He just keeps it to basketball no matter what is going on. His focus is on basketball. And look, that's what I think we need. Like it or not, you might love Mike Miller. You might be a super duper Mike Miller fan. You might be a super duper Mark Jackson fan or Tom Thibodeau fan. And I'm not coming down to either one of those guys. I'm just saying, I think we need whoever's going to be the new coach of the New York Knicks, or remain the coach of the New York Knicks, needs to be somebody who just focuses on basketball, not all the other hogwash that comes with being a professional athlete in New York. It's not easy to not deal with that stuff, but Mike Miller's done a good job so far. We'll see. But let's get this thing rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to be back. That's the jig. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in effect. The Knicks take on the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden at 7:30 p.m. The Indiana Pacers, you already know, they're in it to win it. They're in a playoff race, ladies and gentlemen. They are in a playoff race. They want to be in the playoffs. So it's going to be a battle. You know, they're coming. Listen, they're already in the playoffs. You know, the Indiana Pacers right now on the season, ladies and gentlemen, they're in the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference. They're 32-23. We're going to talk about their winning streak and what they are in the last 5 games and all that kind of stuff. They're actually 3-7 in the last 10 games, but they're in the 6th spot. In the 6th spot, they're 2 games out of the 5th spot, 3 games out of the 4th spot. You better believe they want to try to battle and get that 4th spot, because in that 4th spot, guess what? You got home court advantage. Now, that 4th spot, you'll probably be playing either the Miami Heat or the Philadelphia 76ers. Tough matchup, tough battle. Maybe even the Toronto Raptors. I doubt it. Toronto Raptors, they're hot. They're 9-1 in the last 10 games. But Indiana's fighting and battling for a playoff spot, ladies and gentlemen. So the Knicks have got to come with it. We're going to talk about some strategies, but the Knicks got to come with it. But let's break this down, ladies and gentlemen. Projected starters for the New York Knicks, Frank Ntilikina. Well, I'm sorry, the interim head coach is Mike Miller. You know that already. But the projected starters for the New York Knicks is Frank Ntilikina, R.J. Barrett, Reggie Bullock, Julius Randle, and Taj Gibson. Elfrid Payton, he's out with an ankle. Well, I'm not going to say he's out, but he's questionable with an ankle. Wayne Ellington is also questionable with an ankle. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not too worried about Wayne Ellington. I'm not worried about that at all. Elfrid Payton, he's a point guard. You're going to have Frank Ntilikina and then Dennis Smith Jr. So we'll see how that goes. For the Indiana Pacers, Nate McMillan is the head coach. The projected starters are Malcolm Brogdon, Victor Oladipo. Oladipo is only 7 games into the season, right? Just 7 games into the season. So he's still getting warmed up. He's still getting ready. And one of the goals for the Indiana Pacers is going to be to get Victor Oladipo ready for the playoffs. It's one of their goals. What perfect time than tomorrow night versus the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, shooting guard is Victor Oladipo. Small forward, TJ Warren. Power forward, Domantas Sabonis. All-stars, Domantas Sabonis. And then at center is Miles Turner. Now, TJ Warren, he is a game-time decision with a back injury. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night. But those are the projected starters for tomorrow night. All right, let's take a look at some of the key matchups, or I'm sorry, the team comparison. Let me not get ahead of myself. I'm excited because we're finally back in the building and getting things going. So I'm a little bit excited, but it's cool. Let's look at the team comparison. All right. The Knicks, 17-38 on the season. They're on a 2-game losing streak. They average 104.8 points per game. They give up 111.7 points per game. They shoot 44% from the field. They shoot 33.4% from 3. And they shoot 46.5. I'm sorry, they don't shoot 46.5% from rebounds. They grab 46.5 rebounds per game. And they average 21.7 assists. They average 14.3 turnovers per game. The offensive rating is 104.9. That's 29th in the league. And their defensive rating is 111.8. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that is overall for the entirety of the season. Right? The last 5 games, you'll see it's a little bit different. And actually, these two teams actually kind of flip and reverse spots the last 5 games. The last 2 games for the Knicks were terrible, but anyway, we'll talk about that. Indiana Pacers, as mentioned before, the 32-23 on the season. They won their last game. They average 109.7 points per game. They give up 107.6 points per game. They shoot 47.8% from the field. They shoot 36.6% from 3. They grab 42.5 rebounds per game. They average 26.2 assists per game and 12.9 turnovers per game. Their offensive rating is 110.2. That's 16th in the league. And their defensive rating is 108.1. That's 11th in the league. But look, since Victor Oladipo's been back, it's been a little bit different. All right, it's been a little bit different. They've been, I don't know if I want to say struggling, but they're working Victor Oladipo back into the system, back into the lineup. He's back being a starter now. All right, he's back being a starter, but he's still got some work to do to work himself in. And you'll see as we look at the as we take a look at all of the numbers behind the player comparisons and key players and stuff like that. Victor Oladipo still has some work to do to get himself back in the rhythm. And the Knicks are good. The Pacers are going to be looking to get Victor Oladipo, ladies and gentlemen, back in rhythm. I don't want it to happen against the Knicks. And I know there's a lot of people that's like, well, we need a tank and blah, 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 blah. Good for you. Good for you. You want a tank. Good. I don't want to see it happen against the Knicks. So it is what it is. But that's what the numbers are. That's the team comparison. The last 5 games, though, is a bit different. It's a bit different. These two teams actually kind of reverse roles the last 5 games. The last 5 games, the Knicks are 3-2. Now, the last 3 games for the Knicks not been good. Okay, they got beat by the Atlanta Hawks. Then they got beat by the Washington Wizards. Right, they lost to the Hawks. 135-140. Then they lost to the Wizards 114-96. These are the last two games before the All-Star break. That last game against the Wizards, you could see the Knicks just kind of check out. They checked out and they checked into the hotel. Checked out of the Garden, checked into a hotel. But anyway, they're 3-2 in the last 5 games. All right, their average over the last 5 games, 114 points per game. They give up 116.6. Look, they gave up 140 to the Hawks. They gave up 114 to the Wizards. Now, games previous to that, they gave up 92 to the Pistons. They gave up 103 to the Magic. They gave up 134 to the Cavaliers. Now, they won those previous 3 games. They beat the Cavaliers 139-134. They beat the Magic 105-103. Then they beat the Pistons 95-92. And that was part of a 4-game win streak. And before that, they beat the Pacers 92-85. So the Knicks will see if they can start another 4-game win streak or start another win streak with the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are going to, it's a revenge game for them. They want this one back because they know that they're not supposed to lose to the Knicks, not if they're in the playoff spot. They're not supposed to lose to the Knicks. The Knicks over the last 5 games are shooting 47.4% from the field. They're shooting 32% from 3. They grab 48 rebounds per game. They average 26.6 assists per game, and they're averaging 16.2 turnovers per game. Their offensive rating is 108.4. That's 24th in the league. And their defensive rating is 110.8. That's 10th in the league. And like I said, these two teams kind of flip roles. They kind of reverse it. You know what I'm saying? They kind of reverse it just a little bit in the last 5 games because the Indiana Pacers are 1-4 in the last 5 games. Now, remember, Victor Oladipo's been back about 7 games. All right, so, there's an adjustment period there. They're averaging 112.8 points per game. They give up 115 points per game. So, over the last 5 games, these two teams are kind of playing the same type of basketball. They shoot 50.3% from the field. They average, and they're shooting 34.6% from 3. They average 42 rebounds a game, so the Knicks need to dominate the glass. They should be able to dominate the glass, even though Domantas Sabonis, Sabonis is a hell of a rebounder, and you're going to see it as we look over the, player comparisons and all of that. Domantas Sabonis is a hell of a rebounder. The Pacers average 27.2 assists per game, and they average 15 turnovers a game. Their offensive rating is 111.5. That's 18th in the league. And their defensive rating is 114.3. That's 22nd in the league. Listen, I'm chopping it all up. The Pacers are up and down a little bit throughout the season. Getting at 32-23 on the season. But look, with Victor Oladipo coming back, they got a lot to work in. They're trying to get him ready for the playoffs. That's the ultimate goal now when you come down to this point of the season. Now is when you're going to see some real basketball, ladies and gentlemen. For the next, February? For the next month and a half, you're going to see some real basketball as teams are fighting for playoff spots. All right. Let's take a look at the key matchups. Our first key matchup is Victor Oladipo and R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett coming off of a very nice game at the Rising Stars. He had 27 points, 6 assists. He had 5 rebounds, or 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. I said it backwards. So hopefully he's coming into this game with some confidence. R.J. Barrett, he's 6'6", 214. He's averaging 13.6 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game, 2.4 assists per game, and 1 steal. He shoots 38.8% from the field and 31.8% from 3. Victor Oladipo, just 7 games into the 2019-2020 season. Just 7 games in. 6'4", 213. He's averaging 11.1 points per game, 2 rebounds per game, 2.9 assists per game, and just under 1 steal per game. He's only shooting 32.9% from the field and 24.4% from 3. He is starting, and he's trying to work himself in. We don't want him to do it against the Knicks. RJ Barrett's got a task in front of him. Victor Oladipo is, getting his body back in shape. It's up to RJ Barrett. Listen, every player goes through, every rookie goes through a little rookie wall type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe hit the rookie wall a little bit. Maybe RJ Barrett did earlier in the season. He looked a little bit refreshed after his, he came, he had an ankle injury. Then he came back, struggled a little bit, started to look a little bit fresh. Now he's had another week off. So maybe he's coming in, fresh, re-energized. RJ Barrett I'm talking about. Hopefully the entire Knicks squad is coming back a little more energized. They've had some time to practice, like really practice. I don't know how much they did. Mike Miller probably gave them a couple of days off, told them to, go take their wives on vacation somewhere, wives, girlfriends, or, just chill with your family. Take them on vacation somewhere, do whatever. Then came back for a couple of days of practice. I want to see what they look like. They better look better because they got to look better because they looked bad in that Wizards game. It was bad. Remember, they lost 114-96, but they checked out. They mentally and physically checked out of the game. So RJ Barrett's refreshed. Victor Oladipo, played 7 games. Then got a chance to really practice with the team over the All-Star break. So there's a chance that he could look good against the Knicks tomorrow night. He hasn't really looked good so far since he's been back. There's a chance that he could look good. We'll see. My next key matchup, Domantas Sabonis versus Julius Randle. How much will they play against each other? We'll see. They will. Against Domantas Sabonis, the Knicks are going to switch off Taj Gibson, Julius Randle. Probably those two guys. We'll see time on Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis, 6'11", 240. Averages 18.3 points per game. 12.5 rebounds per game. Averages 4.8 assists per game and just under 1 steal per game. He shoots 54.1% from the field, and he shoots 22.4% from 3. We're not worried about the 3 ball. We're worried about what he does around the basket. He's a beast around the basket. He rebounds the ball. You see 12.5 rebounds a game, and he can score the ball around the basket. He's got nice post move, good footwork. Nice post moves, and he has good footwork, and has a nice touch around the rim. So we got to play some defense on that guy. No doubt about it. Got to play some defense on that guy. Julius Randle, 6'8", 250, averages 19.3 points per game, 9.6 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists, just under 1 steal per game. All right, shooting 45.5% from the field and 26.4% from 3. We're going to need Julius Randle to step up and play some defense. People complain about his defense and everything else, leadership skills and all of that. We just need him to step up tonight. I'm just focused on tonight. Let's see or tomorrow night. All right, we need him to play some defense against Domantas Sabonis. I feel like the Knicks just match up well against the Pacers. The first game that we played the Pacers, it's a close game, right? I think Mike Miller just taken over or was just about to take over, whatever it was. I think Mike Miller had just taken over. It was a close game. We lost it, but it was a good one. Then we went to Indiana just a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, a week ago, whatever it was, and we won. Right? Now we're going to see if we can come back to the Garden and get another win. I feel like we just match up well. There's some teams that you just match up well with. Sometimes you can have a team that is a championship level team, but when they play a certain bottom feeder, they can't play well against them because that bottom feeder team just matches up well. I feel like we match up well with the Indiana Pacers. So it's going to be a good game, close game. Can we pull it out? We'll see. Let's talk strategy a little bit. Some of the keys to the game. We got to get back to playing some defense. Our last 2 games, ladies and gentlemen, even though over the last 5 games it says we're top 10 defense, whatever, the last 2 games, we sucked. We sucked. We gave up 114 to the Wizards. They could score the ball. We know that. So maybe that was okay defense because they usually score a little higher than that. We gave up 140 to the Hawks. Trae Young went wild. We got to get back to playing that top 10 defense. And maybe now, our minds are a little bit refreshed. We got over the Knicks dealing with a lot of things. Right? leading up to the All-Star break. A lot of stuff. You had, what you had? Back in November, your head coach got fired, right? Head coach got fired. Then, the Knicks play, whatever, boom, boom, blam. And then your president gets fired, rightfully so. And then, you get the word that Leon Rose is coming in. And there's all this stuff going on. And then Steve Stout is, the publicist dude or trying to change the team image. Gets on ESPN. He says what he says. And Marcus Morris gets traded, which was expected, I guess. It gets traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. You got a new player, Mo Harkless comes in. There's a lot of stuff surrounding the Knicks, man, leading up to that All-Star break. Finally, the All-Star break. Hopefully now after the All-Star break, there's still going to be stuff, right? There's going to be people talking about who's going to be the next coach. I really wish it would die down, though. Just let Mike Miller do his job for the remainder of the season. If there's going to be a new coach, let's talk about it then, right? Or, New York Knicks, listen, reporters and all that stuff is going to talk about it. I just hope that nothing's being leaked from the Knicks, to give guys an idea of this or that, the other thing. I really would like it to be quiet, just out of respect for Mike Miller, and let Mike Miller do his job for the remainder of the time that he's here. And maybe he's going to be here after, we don't know, but at least let him do his job for the remainder of the time that we're here. But it's after the All-Star break, the Knicks don't have to worry about, am I going to be traded? Some of the guys are going to be worried about next year's contract, of course. They don't have to worry about all that stuff. Maybe they can just play. Right? Play. It's going to be tough, though, because there's still a lot of stuff going on out there. Still a lot of stuff going on. So, who knows? But either way, we got to get back to playing some defense. Because since Mike Miller's taken over, we've played decent defense. We got to get back to playing that decent defense, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and maybe those last two games were just anomalies. Let's hope so. I also think we got to match the intensity of the Indiana Pacers, because the Pacers, like I said, they're now really fighting for playoff position. They know they're going to be in the playoffs unless they just totally collapse. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're fighting for playoff positioning. So the games, they're going to ratchet up a little bit. The intensity is going to be a little bit higher. The Knicks got to make sure that they match that intensity. If not, they'll get blown to smithereens. But they got to come out and match that intensity. All right? Don't let Victor Oladipo get hot. Like I said, he's only been back for 7 games. He hasn't played well. He's averaging 11 points per game, shooting 30-something% from the field, 20-something% from the three-point line. He wants to get going. The Indiana Pacers want to get Oladipo going. They want to get him going before the playoffs. Now they got 20-something games to make it happen. But they really want to get this guy going. I don't want it to start against the Knicks. R.J. Barry, you got to come out, got to play some defense, do your job. Dame Dot, you're gonna see some time on Victor Oladipo. Maybe Frank sees some time on Victor Oladipo. All right, let's make sure that he doesn't get hot against us. That's what I want. Make sure he doesn't get hot. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, let's ride the hot hand. Marcus Morris ain't here. Right? Since Marcus Morris has been gone, we've seen the Knicks averaging like 25, 26 assists per game, except for that Washington Wizards game. Other than that, they've been up there in the assists. The ball's been moving. It's, more guys are getting shots. The shot distribution is more widespread. So I want to see that continue. And then whoever's hot, that's who you get the ball to. And then when that dude cools down, you find somebody else. And when that guy cools down, you find somebody else. So let's ride the hot hand. And then spacing, right? We got to continue that spacing. Spacing is key. We talked and complained all year that Marcus Morris and Julius Randle couldn't play on the floor together because of their style of play. Well, now, Marcus Morris ain't here. So let's see if we can get that spacing. I don't know because Julius Randle can't shoot. R.J. Barrett can't shoot. Elfrid Payton or Frank Ntilikina, he's going to start. He can't shoot. It's hard to get that spacing when you got guys that can't shoot the rock. Right? Taj Gibson, he's not really pulling you out. And then when you come in with Big Mitch, he's not pulling you out the paint. Where's the spacing coming from? Bobby Portis. Shooting 37% from the field. I mean, from the free, from the arc. Wayne Ellington is out. Dame Doc can help space the floor a little bit. Sometimes Kevin Knox, if he's feeling a little froggy, he might space it a little bit. But spacing is not just shooting. Spacing comes more, it also just about where you stand on the floor. When you see somebody driving one way, where do you go? If they drive the opposite, where do you go? Right? You set a screen, where do you move to? How do we avoid having three guys in one area, which I've seen from this team plenty of times. On plenty of occasions, I've seen three guys in one area. And I'm not talking about creating a triangle. I'm talking about three guys standing on the block together or something crazy. Spacing, spacing. Understand where to be on the floor, when, why, how, where, and what to do when you get there. All right, spacing. Then we got to figure it out down the stretch, man. We got to figure out what we're going to do. Who has the ball? Who doesn't have the ball? Right? It should be, because of the type of team that we have, it should be that they're moving the ball, right? They're finding the open man. That's what it should be about with this team. But, things are things. Things are things. We'll see how they decide to, how this comes to be. They've had a few days to practice over this All-Star break. At least I hope so. Right? A few days to practice and start to figure some things out. I'm interested to see how it looks coming down the final days of the season. All right, the Knicks currently in the 13th spot in the Eastern Conference. There's going to be some people that continuously mention playoff stuff. The Knicks are 7 games behind. You're not making that up in 27 games. Very hard. So, it's not worried about that. Let's just worried about, if we can see some things growing. And I don't even know if that's worth anything, because we don't know what this team is going to be. We don't know who the coach is going to be. We don't know anything. We'll talk about a little bit of coaching too. Tom Thibodeau has been mentioned. He's been mentioned as the prime candidate right now. We'll talk about it, though. We're going to talk about it. I want to finish this up. All right. But we got to figure it out down the stretch. No, I went off onto a tangent, but we got to figure it out down the stretch. Figure out how to do it down the stretch, ladies and gentlemen. All right. But that right there, those are my keys to the game. That's how I see it from my point of view, and what we've got to do to go out there and perform well and give ourselves a chance to pull out a victory against the Indiana Pacers. So, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. If you want to talk, give me a call, 516-405-2246. You want to jump into the Whereby. The Whereby is open right now, whereby.com/NBK. Make sure that you join me. And if you didn't get a chance to see Knicks Weekly last night, and some of you guys probably, looked at the little video that was up and got a little bit upset because I got a lot of thumbs down on it. It's okay. I put that up there just to send you over to Sportscaster, because Knicks Weekly is exclusively on Sportscaster. So if you want to watch Knicks Weekly, you got to go over to Sportscaster and check it out. Got to go over there and check it out. So while I'm waiting for a phone call or somebody to jump into the Whereby, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a listen to Mike Miller as he discusses the Knicks and what things just might look like after this All-Star break, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We're going to talk about, we're going to listen to Mike Miller. He says it's a good break and all that good stuff. I like Mike Miller. Too bad everybody doesn't feel the same way. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Knicks interim head coach Mike Miller. Going to talk to us about the break, the Knicks, about 7 minutes long. Let's get with it, folks. Coach Mike Miller.
How was your break?
It was good. Yeah, good break. I think everybody needed a few days to kind of decompress.
Decompress indeed.
Having this opportunity to have these practices you don't get often in the season.
Right.
What was the group able to accomplish, you think, the last couple of days?
Well, today was the first day. Yeah, today was the first day back. I think every team will be about the same. Today we needed to get up and down and physically kind of get their lungs and their legs back underneath them, and mentally, start getting the focus where it needs to be, just the small details. And then tomorrow we'll expand from there. And we've got 2 or 3 things we would like to see, some improvement. And we started those things today with not only the emphasis, but doing a few breakdown type things to try to what we think we can build on some areas.
What areas are those?
Well, one thing, we feel like we can always space the floor a little bit better. We can help each other. Spacing is like an assist without the ball, really, of opening up the floor. And so we went through some scenarios today with some cuts that maybe we're making inconsistently that will help, the ball movement a little bit. Our transition defense was an area. We've been pretty good protecting the paint, but I think if we can clean up our transition a little bit, it's even going to be that much better. So we picked a couple of things, that are kind of broad and specific at the same time to work on today.
Spacing the floor, does that require, though, better three-point shooting for you guys?
Not necessarily. Part of the spacing we're looking at is when the ball is moving, 3-man spacing, post spacing. Those were the things that we emphasized today, just what we can do with, where we go with our cuts. And a lot of it's recognition type things that we see it quicker and we space, and using the phrase sprint to spacing, get out of there, open up that area. I think they're small things, but I think they make a difference.
I don't know if it's true, but I would presume that one of your goals in your career was to become an NBA coach. Has these last few months kind of reinforced that as something you always wanted to do?
Well, I haven't really. I think anybody that coaches would like to think they would like to work in the NBA, but that really wasn't my intent when we started this. And so, the focus has really been, I guess, to your point, how do we make guys better? How do we help? And when we make guys better, our team's going to be better. So that's been more of the focal point than anything, and seeing if we're doing that every day. Continuing to build on the things that he's doing. I think we talked about, we've really talked a lot about his defense, that he's a versatile defender. Play with that athleticism, play with that length. Make an impact where he is getting deflections, make an impact where he's making plays above the rim, those kind of things. And then offensively, just, to continue to play, finding that offense where it comes. We know he has ability to score and to continue to do that efficiently. I wouldn't say that he struggled. I think, the games now, I'm drawing a blank, but we went through where we came out of it and said less than a week or so ago, we said, those were maybe his best 2 games of the season. So I think he's, it's just a consistency thing of playing at that level. But he had, I don't remember if it was in the Detroit trip or before that, where he had really big impact on the games.
It's just an exhibition, but what you think of RJ Barrett?
I thought it was great for him. It's a great experience for young guys to get to do that. I think you can maybe look at previous players, how they use that game and that platform to continue to grow, and I think he did an outstanding job of how he played and how he represented himself, and the progression of his career.
I think when there's so much turnover, and obviously Steve Mills left, David Fizdale left this season, I assume there's some sort of anxiousness about the future for everybody. How do you address that at all, and how would you?
What we have talked about is kind of what I said earlier, not to be repetitive, but what we control is today. Let's take care of today. Let's get better today. Everybody in the building is working to try to get better. And if we can do that and keep our energy going in that direction, they have proven when they do that, they can have success and they can help themselves.
When people float different names, like this person could be the Knicks head coach or that person could be the Knicks head coach, is that something you pay attention to at all?
No, not at all. I just don't. I don't think it's productive for me. My job is right here today. My focus the last couple of days has been come back and have these, 2 good practices and get ready to play Indiana. We get 2 more practices. So, this will be our stretch really for the rest of the season. We will not have 4 days like this the rest of the way. So, we're working on some things. We've got Mo. Reggie now has got his legs under him. So we have a chance to work on some things and do some things. And that's my concern.
You've done a pretty good job. You won games, you showed progress. Does it bother you though that people are almost dismissing the idea of becoming a coach here?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not really paying attention to it, so I don't really know until you tell me that we're dismissing it. So it's really not my concern. I've said this before. My background, I spent 6 years in the D-League, G-League, and it was day to day. It was about how do you make the players better, and I really feel like that experience gave me a different perspective on how to do these jobs and how to do a job that brings value to an organization. So it's, I'm good with it, and I feel like if we're helping the players, we're doing our jobs, and that's good enough for me.
Do you have a Twitter account?
No. Do not.
Any social media?
Do not.
Do you want?
Do not. I do not. I do not.
Like tell you what they see.
I think they look at things, but they know that I'm not interested, and we don't have those conversations.
Do you see this as a trial, whether it's for this organization or other organizations, to show what you can do as an NBA head coach?
Not at all. I think it's if we help these guys and we continue to grow and get better, then we've done our job. And all I'm concerned about is bringing value to it and helping these guys. As simple as that sounds, I did that for 6 years as a D-League, G-League coach, and I felt good at the end of every season, and that's the direction that I take.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your interim head coach, Mike Miller. He just says the things that I want to hear from a head coach, man. No social media, doesn't want social media. Just wants to help these guys get better. And that's what it's all about. That's what you're supposed to want. You know what I'm saying? My man Isaiah just joined me in the chat, sitting there in the dark. I don't know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's just sitting in the dark is up to no good, probably. But anyway, Isaiah, what's going on, man?
Man, dang, son, don't be doing that to me, man. I just came from, cooking with the lady, man. I'm just going home. I'm not in the dark. I'm not doing nothing sneaky, man. Come on, man.
I don't know. You look like you was in the dark to me. You just came from cooking. I hope she don't got no kind of Ebola virus or nothing since you just finished cooking. But
well,
anyway.
I know how to cook, man. You know what I made today, Sim? You know what I made today?
What'd you make?
I made jerk chicken with rice and peas and some shrimp. With some jerk shrimp.
Okay. Did she say it was good?
Of course I don't have to ask her. That's how good it was. I didn't have to ask her.
Okay. Does she believe it's good?
She doesn't have to believe it. I know it's good.
No, but does she? I mean, she can make you feel any way. She can have you feeling good, like, oh, yeah, baby, this was good. And then, when she leaves, she like, oh, my God, I need to go get something real. I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question. But anyway, go ahead.
Nah, it was good. It was good. So wait, what are we talking about? What are we on right now? I know we was just watching the Mike Miller thing.
Yeah, we just watched Mike Miller talk a little bit. Basically, he said, that the Knicks worked on, over these 2 days of practice, they're working on spacing. They're working on transition defense, 2 things that are key. And I swear, and I lied to you not. He said the same things, the exact same. It's the first time that I watched the interview. So I listened to it the first time with some of you guys. And he said the same thing we were talking about. Guys, spacing doesn't just have to be 3-point shooting, but spacing has to do with where you position yourself on the floor. And he mentioned the post specifically. And like I said, sometimes I've seen 3 guys standing on the box, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Sin, you're talking about, listen, I like Mike Miller a lot. I really do. I think, if we had a full year under Mike Miller instead of David Fisdale, I think the Knicks would have been in a better position. I agree with a lot of what he's saying, but we got to get these guys. You know what it is? I feel like, excuse me. You know what it is? It's like Randall and those guys got to move. We got to keep it moving, man. We got to keep it spacing. And that's what, again, I agree with Mike Miller when he says, shooting threes isn't the only way to space. Space isn't created just by shooting threes. I mean, look at Golden State. People talk about the threes, but they don't talk about the motion. The double screens, the always running around. Like, I don't know if you see the video memes of Steph Curry and how he plays, but that dude just constantly runs and that's constantly in motion. It's those type of things, man. If we get those people, we get those guys moving, those guys not in a box and guys staying still, that's the problem. It's not about the shooting. I mean, shooting is a problem, but it's also that we stay stagnant. We stay this. You got Frank Ntilikina sitting in the corner. You got Mitchell Robinson staying in the paint. You don't got guys moving. You don't got guys being active. That's the problem with our spacing, and that's why we never get good, great shots. It's always isolation scoring because we don't want to move. We got to get them hips moving, and we got to just, keep it in motion and keep the defense on toes.
Yeah, well, Mike Miller's, he said he's got 2 days of practice. Then they play the Pacers, then 2 more days of practice. And that's really it for the remainder of the season. Let's see what he can do in these couple of days of practice, and see if, we can see the guys respond to some things differently or whatever it is. You got a new player, Mo Harkless. You got a chance to, maybe get Mo Harkless into some things that he wants to do a little bit better. See what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? See what it looks like. Now I want to take a moment and listen to Mo Harkless. All right, and because of course there's questions about whether or not Mo Harkless is going to remain in Knicks, if he's going to be bought out. So let's take a listen to Mo Harkless and see if I haven't listened to this yet. See if it comes up at any time or any point during this little 2-minute interview. And if he does get bought out, from what I understand, the Los Angeles Lakers are interested in Mo Harkless. So let's see. Let's check it out. This is Mo Harkless from practice, ladies and gentlemen.
How was your break?
It was good. It's a nice time to just kind of unwind and it's a mental reset, I guess you could call it.
What's it been like, since you came over, just trying to get up to speed on playbook, defensive concepts, things like that?
I mean, that's pretty much it. When you change teams, it's not completely different, but you just got to adjust to different play calls, and defensively, it's kind of similar principles I've had in the past. So on that end, I don't think it's much of an adjustment, but I think just getting up to speed with the play call and stuff like that is the biggest thing.
Guys,
how are you vetting the opportunity that you have right now, looking ahead, possibly remaining in New York or signing elsewhere?
I'm just taking it day by day. I've always loved the Knicks, so it's pretty cool to play here. I just have to wait and see what happens.
Is that a consideration for you to see if you can get a buyout before the end of the month?
Honestly, I haven't put any real thought into it. There's been some talk about it, but like I said, I'm kind of just focusing on today. If my agent and I decide to explore that, it's a conversation we'll have. But right now, I haven't really put much thought into it.
When you say there's been some talk, do you mean between outside?
Outside. Yeah, outside. Like I hear the outside noise, obviously, but nothing on my end, at least, has been initiated.
No, you haven't spent a lot of time here, but just the time that you've been here, what have you thought about R.J. Barrett?
I think he's a great young player. I think he has a lot of potential to be pretty good. He gets into the lane. He can finish on the basket. He's strong, athletic, and I think he has a real good potential to be a special player.
Is it? if you're home, is there a challenge to be playing at home? Because is there more ticket requests or things like that you have to deal with, or has that not been a thing for you?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a thing. There's more people, like, you know, people want to see you, people want to come to the games, and I mean, I don't think that's really necessarily a bad thing. I enjoy being home. I enjoy being able to spend time with my friends and my family. So I'm actually excited about it. I played here in college, so I already got a little mini dose of that. Obviously, it's on another level now, but it's something that I enjoy.
Well, you said there hasn't been talks yet.
What's up, Zach?
You mentioned, like, at a time you guys might talk, you and your agent might talk about, like, how are you going to kind of decide if you want to seek a buyout or not? What's going to be?
I mean, I think there's a few things that factor into it. You know, what the situation is here, obviously. Whether or not, you know, since it is the last year of my contract, whether or not it makes sense to, you know, join a contender and just play on in the playoff stage. You know, those are all things that we got to think about. But like I said, right now I'm just focused on getting up to speed here and making the most of this.
All right. So, to me, it sounds like, you know, he says the conversations haven't been had. To me, it sounds like the conversations have definitely been had. He's just not letting some things out to the media, which, you know, is smart, right? Yeah, I wouldn't want to let anything out, but to me, it sounds like the conversation has been had. Somewhere along the line, the conversation has been had. Like you said, you know, it just comes down to, you know, do I want to try to play with a playoff contender? You know, I'd like to see him for a little bit, see how he would look, you know what I mean? Because he is the kind of guy that you want to have. You want to have some guys, you know, some guys that can play defense and do those type of things on the floor, glue type of guy. You know what I mean? But if it's not to be, it's not to be. I'd like to see what it looks like. You know, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. You know, he may request a buyout. If he's going to request a buyout, then he better do it within the next 11 days. Or 10 days or whatever it is. So he can get on a playoff team before March 1st. And if he does, I can almost guarantee he's going to go to the Lakers, man. I bet you he goes back to L.A. If he gets bought out, he's going to go to the Lakers. Them L.A. teams, man, they're souping up. Isaiah, what do you think, man? What do you think is going to happen with Mo Harkless? You think he's going to stick around, or you think he's going to get bought out? Or you think he's going to initiate a buyout?
You know, Sam, I'm with you. I want to see Mo Harkless with RJ. Right now, my main focus with the Knicks rest of the season is let's get RJ right, and let's put the pieces around RJ. But I like Mo Harkless to be a defensive stopper for the Knicks. But, you know, from the conversation that he's having, it doesn't sound like it pretty much sounds like the Knicks are just waiting to buy him out so that he can go to the Lakers. That's what it really sounds like, you know. Again, I'm with you. I want to see Mo Harkless play with the Knicks, but if not, you know, hey, we got the first round pick, so I'm happy with that. You know, so
not only did we get a first round pick, we got a first round pick, but we also, you know, at least for this season, saved like $4 million, right? Because Mo Harkless played, he makes $11 million. What's his name? You know, Mook. He was making $15 million, so the Knicks, you know, probably saved about $4 million too.
And let me tell you something, though, Sim. Let me tell you something that no one's talking about. People are gonna laugh about it right now because it's right now. But if we got the ability to, if something happens to the Clippers and they fall off, and we have the ability to swap picks, and listen, I've seen crazier things happen, Sim. And people talk about
that's not this year. That's not this year.
No, but that's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying that in the future, that swap, people are laughing about it like, oh, the Clippers are just going to be good. People just assume because they have these guys they're going to be good. They don't know that, you know, what if Kawhi be like, you know what, I'm kind of done playing with the Clippers. Or Paul George gets into it. Or, you know, even to me, the more common thing would be like, huh?
Or injuries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Injuries. And now people going to be like, because now they can have a season like the freaking the Warriors, and then people going to be laughing then when the Knicks have the ability to swap picks. People gonna laugh then if the Clippers end up like the Warriors of this year and have like a bad season where they might get the number 1 pick. Come on, man. People are just, well, the Knicks are in a good spot, but yeah, I think Mo Harkless is gonna get bought out in the next couple of days.
I think it sounds to me like it's probably gonna happen. He'll probably get bought out. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he'll probably get bought out. Kyrie 420 said we're bugging. You're not understanding what he's saying. Basically, the swapping the pick, it doesn't hurt the Knicks at all, right? If the Clippers are the world champions that year, so you keep your pick. But if something happens, it's just a little thing in there that sets you up just in case something happens, right? That's all. That's all.
Hey, Sam, hold on.
I mean, there probably will be good, but it's just a little thing that sets you up just in case.
Sam, but people acting like, Sam, people trying to say I'm bugging, but Sam, I guarantee you, Sam, before the summer, I promise you, I would have bet somebody $1,000 that the people would have thought the Warriors would be in the playoff contention. People would have. There was no way someone would have said, "Yo, the Warriors might get the number 1 pick this year." No one said that.
Right? Nah, of course, we get that. I mean, yeah, but look, that's look, we got the pick, we got the swap. Mo Harkless, he might be out. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I see someone in the chat say, "How many defensive stoppers do you want?" I mean, look, how many defensive stoppers do we really have? Be honest. Right? Frank plays defense. Mo Harkless, if Mo Harkless stays on the team, he plays some defense. RJ Barrett is okay. Elfrid Payton is okay. How many other guys do you really have? You need to have some guys that can play D. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you need to have some guys that can play D and some glue type guys on the team. Every team needs them. Everybody overlooks those type of guys until you don't have them. And then when you don't have them, you're like, damn, we just gave away some guys and now we're not the same team. You know what I mean? But anyway, the Knicks play the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night, man. And, we just went over. If you're just joining us, you can rewind and you can check out the game preview and stuff like that. I got Guillermo getting ready to join me in the chat. And we're going to, now that we went over the game preview, we're going to talk about some other stuff. Obviously, if you missed Knicks Weekly last night, we talked about Tom Thibodeau and all of that stuff. I'm saying we'll touch on it a little bit here for the next couple of minutes. We'll talk about, the Knicks draft position and all of that. Right now, if you look at the Knicks draft position, according to Tankathon, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks are the 5th pick right now. 17-38, the Knicks are the 5th pick. And we're going to see how this works out over the next 27 some odd games. Right now, the Knicks are the 5th pick. And they have, as currently constructed, the Knicks would have the 25th pick. So right now, the Knicks would have the 5th and the 25th picks in the draft, ladies and gentlemen, because the Knicks have the Los Angeles Clippers pick right here. So we'll see how that goes. And right now, according to Tankathon, they have the Knicks projected to get... I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Let me go back real quick and click on the mock draft. There we go. Right now, they have the Knicks projected to get Tyrese Halliburton at number 5 and at number 25, Demise Ramsey. So we'll see. We'll see. And we'll see what the Knicks or, what the new president, Leon Rose, and GM plan to do. Let's talk about that a little bit, though. Right? Since last night, you guys can go check out Knicks Weekly on Sportscaster. We talked about Tom Thibodeau and all of that good stuff. Now, let's talk a little bit about the GM position. Because there's some things going on, and there's some things going on out there that Allen Houston may be in a position to be bumped up, right? He's been the GM of the Westchester Knicks for the last however many years. And there's some rumors out there that maybe Allen Houston could be in position, is possibly in position to get the GM spot or advance somewhere throughout Madison Square Garden or throughout the Knicks. So I want to find out from you guys, man, how would you feel about Allen Houston stepping up into that GM spot? All right, Guillermo?
Yo.
What's going on, man? How would you feel about Allen Houston stepping up to that GM spot?
I don't want it. Plain and simple. This crap where there's like this nepotism. You know, I mean, this is the same issues that we've had before with guys like Steve Mills. You know, I mean, guys who really don't have much experience. I know Allen Houston had experience with the G League and stuff. We need professional guys with experience who could bring their coaching trees. And if Allen Houston wants to join that coaching tree, fair enough. Let him learn under there. But enough with this nepotism. Enough with this, oh, yeah, I'm going to make a change. Because, again, this is just the same hogwash, the same garbage that we've been going through time and time and time after again. Like, why are we hiring unproven guys? Like, put it like this. If Allen Houston was involved with scouting or something like that, and we drafted, like a bunch of gems for, like, the past I don't know how many years, and I say, you know what? Hey, he's a rising star. But can someone tell me what Allen Houston has done for this Knicks team in any capacity where you're like, oh, my gosh, his vision, his perspective is second to none? You know what I mean? Again, this is Dolan doing his garbage. Just stop, because I'm not spending my money for this crap anymore. Like, this is garbage.
Has he been in a position to? And they didn't say he was going to be the GM. I just asked you the question.
No,
they just said the report is
just
that he could be in position to move up. Maybe it's a GM, maybe it's not. But has he been in a position? You asked, what has he done for the Knicks organization? Has he been in a position to be able to do anything?
He was head of the G League, right?
Yeah.
So when you're head of the G League, you probably have a lot of input in terms of scouting, right? So you could pick off some. I'm just talking in layman terms. You could pick up some kid from the street, and if he becomes the next Steve Francis, that was because of you, right, Allen Houston? Or if you go overseas, I don't know how the scouting works and how they, but you probably have a lot of communications with scouting, right? So say Allen Houston picks some kid overseas, right? He played in college, didn't get the chance, and he went overseas. Allen Houston's like, hey, let's bring you into the G League. Comes to the G League, works his way up to the Knicks. And now he's a 15-point scorer off of 43% shooting from the three, 48% from the field goal, something like that. And he's our next big thing. That's Allen Houston. So yes, he does have the capacity to do that. But again, what I feel with a lot of these guys in the Knicks, and I've seen it with him, the Herb Williams, the Steve Mills, it's a cushy job. It's a hey, I'm somehow associated with the Knicks. I was a former player. And because he probably never was able to make a layup in his life, he wants to be cool with certain guys or have that cachet with guys who are associated with the Knicks. And it's like, hey, let me do this and do that. And no, now you have a job with the team, blah, blah. But the experience, the development, Knicks have been losing for the past, I don't know how many years, save for the one little year we had with Melo. And it's like, dude.
All right, I'm going to play some devil's advocate because I see in the chat, who was it? Someone said, Triborough Gigolo said, he's barely doing his job in the G League. If he's barely doing his job in the G League, why do we keep clamoring for these G League guys to come up to play for the Knicks?
I think it's because we're so bad that we're just desperate for anybody to come up and create some type of contribution. I wouldn't say he's done nothing in the G League because then again, like we've had guys who've like Trey Burke basically resurrected his career. I know he's like a rotational guy now, but he kind of resurrected his career with the Knicks, right? So, and Mike Miller came from the G League. I don't know how much input Allen Houston had in that, but I'll give him credit because he was head of G League. I'm not sure if he's still head of G. I don't know how it goes now, but I wouldn't say he's made no contribution.
I'm just asking because let me see, 2015-16, the G League team, Westchester Knicks, they were 28-22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7th in the G League. 2016-17, they were 19-31. All right, 2017-18, they were number 1. They were 32-18. 2018-19, they were 29-21. And this year, so far, they're 16-20, right? So I mean, they've had 16, but they've had some good records. Some of it is Coach Mike Miller. Some of it is the players that they get now in the G League. You can have, because of the way that it's set up, you're going to have times when you're the number one team in the entire league, and then when you're last in the entire league because of the way that
the thing about the G League
up.
is not necessarily the record, right? Because the G League it's all developmental, right? So, it's as crazy as it sounds, right? In the G League, you're literally looking for gems. So if you can find a guy who could develop under the G League, right? You have that kid, Hinton. I can't remember his first name, but the kid I was clamoring for at the beginning of the season, I think he's from Shaw or whatever, some small school.
Amir Hinton.
Thank you. You're looking for guys to develop. So if we had a G League team that they lost, 60, 70% of their games, but this one kid is developing, and he's developing the way that, hey, the Knicks have they have a need for a shooting guard, a guy who can space the floor, play off ball, and say Amir Hinton is that. I'm just making an example. And that's what you're gonna try to develop in the G League. So it's not necessarily the record per se. I know what you're getting at, right? So it looks good, but I would say a better mark of development is like, hey, we got these gems that we're developing. No one knew about them. We saw some in them, and we think they could contribute. They come and contribute, and they contribute more than what was expected. Hey, you got something on your hands. The same thing is like when we saw Isaiah Thomas. Is like a little different stories, but it's like this guy's always had a really good scouting record, right? So it wasn't crazy when people wanted to make him the GM. Like, we didn't know his other issues and stuff. But when you look at his tracker in terms of drafting, Tracy McGrady's and stuff like that, the guy was, he had a good eye for talent. And that's what we need. If Allen Houston wants to make a name and say, or we want to validate Allen Houston doing that, we have to look at who have we brought up from the G League that has made those type of contributions where it's like, this guy has good scouting capabilities, or he sees something, you know what I mean? Or even put like this, if we had it in a G League where we had a discernible style of play, and that was because of Allen Houston, like he got the new Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens comes to the Knicks G League, the next Brad Stevens, Brad Stevens too. And for some reason now he's running some weird scheme or some different scheme that is really effective. And say that guy goes to another team. Maybe say he doesn't get much push up to the Knicks, he goes to another team, and he carries that scheme out. And it's like, oh crap, Allen Houston has a good eye for talent on the coaching side. You know what I mean? I just don't see that with Allen Houston. So
okay, I guess we'll see if he moves up anywhere within the organization, because the G League is a training ground not just for basketball players. It's a training ground for coaches, for GMs, for referees, for practicing weird rules and all kinds of stuff. So I guess, we'll see if there's any fire behind the smoke with Allen Houston just moving up, within the Knicks. The only thing I say is, we look at some people, we look at people around the league, right? And we look at other teams, and we want to poach people from other teams that have been assistant GMs or G League GMs, or they've done they've been with the Oklahoma City Thunder, or they've been with this team or that team, and you can really say the same thing. Now they've been part of a winning organization, so you can say that that Allen Houston has not been part of a winning organization, but realistically those guys haven't done anything on their own either.
And this is the thing. It's like with Allen Houston, man, because you like the guy's personal. Like he seems like a good dude, right? Certain guys just gravitate towards. He always looks professional. He's the type of guy, and I just wish that certain guys like the Bill Belichick and stuff. They work their way up from the absolute nothing. But the thing with Allen Houston, unfortunately, I think that, I would, if I could advise him, you probably would never listen to me, but if I was able to advise him, I would say pick a specialty. Is it personnel? Is it players? Is it drafting? Is it scouting? And then go work with another team and work your way up. So now you build up cachet, you can build your own little tree. You get your own little guys who kind of want to follow you, these little assistants or whatever, and they want to build up, because this thing with the Knicks, Like, this is like, it's a big boom or bust. Like, say he got the job, it's a big boom or bust because, again, you're working with a guy in James Dolan who is an erratic, who's just not a good owner. I'm not saying erratic, but he's just not a good owner. And you don't want to ruin your name as another. You don't want to be the Knick guy he just got on because he was Knicks. Versus, say he goes to the Spurs, right? He develops under Spurs. He learns a lot under Spurs. He goes to another team, say the Kings, who aren't doing so well, and he starts to make an impact with the Kings, whether it be bringing in the right coaches, whether it's bringing in the right players, scouting the right players, bringing in guys who could build different schemes with the team, and they become successful. And now he can work his way up to a higher position. Well, now he can work it up to a GM. Maybe before he was assistant this or whatever. Now he works up to a GM. Now you can't sit here. You can say all that Knicks stuff. Now you can come back to the Knicks, and now it's validated. Now no one can say, oh, he's a guy who got. And they say he even fails with the Knicks. Well, it's like, well, he had a successful track record. Now he can go to someplace else. Versus you do with the Knicks, you might not be able to get in anywhere else unless you want to start from the bottom. And a lot of these guys, they don't want to swallow their pride and start all the way from the bottom after failing with a certain team. So I would tell him to go another organization.
I mean
that's a lot
that
better
right there. I would agree with you with that right there, right? You know, with the Knicks, it's going to be hard to prove yourself, at least with the Knicks, you know, with the way that they are right now. But when you talk about him starting from the bottom, I think he did. Right? I mean,
they did it with the Knicks.
I get that. I understand that. I understand that. But I still think he did, right? He like you said, you know, he's got to choose. You said, choose what it is that you want to do. I think he has chosen what it is that he wants to do, and he's finding a way. Maybe being with the Knicks is the wrong move, but I think he's chosen what he wants to do, right? He's been, he was hired in 2008. He's been with the Knicks. What's this? 2020. He's been with the Knicks for 12 years in an executive position. He was an assistant to the president of basketball operations. So who knows what that actually entails? He's just an assistant. Then he was promoted to position of assistant general manager in 2010. As of July 2019, he was the special assistant to the general manager of the Knicks. He was also the general manager of the Westchester Knicks. I mean, that's, trying to work your way up. Maybe he's with the wrong organization, but, it's trying to work your way up and work your way through it. So, as far as starting from the bottom, I think that's what he's been trying to do. Starting here, and I'm going to learn the game and work my way up through it. Is it with the right team? Who knows? Nate, what do you think, man?
I mean, I like Allen Houston. I mean, he's the reason why I'm a Knicks fan. I just love the guy in general. I think he's a really good person and got good qualities. I actually think that, I'd love to see him coach the Westchester Knicks. I think there could be some potential there. But like you said, it's unfair that he's been here this long and really hasn't moved up, stuff like that. And, I don't know, man. I like Allen Houston. I want him to stay in the organization. He's kind of tough, man. I don't really know what his future is with the Knicks. I don't know what their plan is. Like I said, I would like to see him do something with the Westchester Knicks. I think he's got some potential, man. I mean,
we'll see. I think the biggest thing against him is that he's done this job with the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest strike against him is that he's done it with the Knicks.
Yeah.
We don't know what his input has or has not been as far as making decisions or anything like that. So who knows? As far as him being a coach, I don't think he's ever going to be a coach. I don't think.
What's his position right now with the Knicks, Sim? Do you know?
He's in I just read it. He's in a special assistant to the GM.
What does that mean?
And he's the general manager of the Westchester Knicks. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But he's, I guess, in position to move up within the New York Knicks organization, and we'll see what that means. I do think that if you're bringing in a rookie president, you got to have somebody who's got a lot of experience as a general manager, in my opinion.
Yeah, you had mentioned that, yeah.
Or somebody who has a lot of experience running organizations, because obviously Leon Rose, he might have experience running some other kind of organization, but an NBA team, he's not going to have the experience running an NBA team. So I do think you got to have somebody who has got some kind of experience behind him. You know, it would have made more sense to me if your president had the experience and then your general manager, you know, you got a general manager. Like if you're, Leon Rose, you hire Leon Rose as the general manager, the guy who's going to be reaching out to free agents, making deals, doing those type of things. And then you have a president who understands basketball operations. I think that makes a little bit more sense. But the Knicks don't always make sense.
Hey, Sim, who's coaching the Westchester Knicks right now?
His name is, I forgot his name. Let me see. I forgot his name. Tall black dude.
Not Herb Williams, is it?
No, it's not Herb. Herb Williams. I think Herb Williams is over at Barclays now, right? Because he's coaching the Liberty. And the Liberty is no longer with Madison Square Garden.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they're no longer with Madison Square Garden. The Liberty, the Nets bought them or whatever it is. I forgot his name. I can't find it. But
are you going to talk about Kyrie being out for the season?
Go ahead, let's talk about it, man. Kyrie Irving is out for the season.
Yeah, and we dodged a bullet.
Well, I mean, I guess, you know, you see where we are right now, but we dodged the bullet as far as not having to pay him mad money.
Player that's hurt.
Yeah, we dodged the bullet as far as not having to pay him mad money. We dodged the bullet there for sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. You know, we'll see. Let me see the Nets right now. Where are the Nets as far as the playoffs are concerned? The Nets are currently 25-28. They're the 7th seed. Kyrie. Now, but this is the thing.
Not allowed to be going, but they want to come into.
But this is the thing. They've played better without Kyrie throughout the season. So
yeah, that's true.
So you know,
yeah, Dimwit plays a lot better.
What'd you say?
I said, yeah, Dimwit plays a lot better.
Yeah, so you know, we'll see. You know how that ends up working out for the Nets. All right, so let me ask you, man. I think I know the answer because we heard from Mike Miller. Is he gonna stick with playing the vets, or what's he gonna do?
I think he's gonna stick with the vets, man, because at the end of the day, he needs to win to boost his resume for other teams. I think he realizes that unless the Knicks come out with a really good opportunity for him to stay on the staff, he's pretty much gone. And I think he's opened up an opportunity to be on somebody else's staff as a head assistant coach. I think the guy's got some potential in coaching. But I think he's going to try to win, man, because he needs to boost that resume and make it look better for other teams. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, he probably will. He probably will.
I don't see him changing, man. I don't see him changing all of a sudden saying, oh, yeah, now I'm going to start playing the young kids because we're out of the race. I think in his mind, believe it or not, they still think the Knicks are competitive and that they still have a chance. So he's going to continue to do what he's doing and until they tell him otherwise, which they might.
Do you really think that they think the Knicks have a chance to have a chance?
I don't know, man. I mean, these coaches, man, they have this mentality that, anything can happen. You look at the 8th seed. You could win 6 games in a row, and the other team could lose 4 or 5 games in a row, and bam, you're like a couple of games out of the 8th seed. It's the Eastern Conference, man. Anything's possible. Is it likely? Probably not. But, I think in his mind, he thinks they're playing better. The defense is better. Offense is still a problem, but the defense has gotten a lot better. I think, he's happy with Peyton the way he's playing. I see him just rolling the way it is, man. I don't see it changing. Unless something drastically where the GM, like Perry, comes and tells him, like, hey, man, you got to start playing some of these young guys like Wotan, Trier, because we gotta either market these guys for other teams or we got to see what we got in these guys for next year. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I want to ask you guys a question. One, Isaiah, I'm gonna ask you first. I don't know if Isaiah looks like he's frozen. So I think Isaiah is frozen. So I'm gonna come to Guillermo. I'm gonna ask Guillermo. Guillermo, I don't know if Guillermo. I don't know who Guillermo's talking to because Isaiah's not in there. So who's he talking to, Nate?
It's me,
Who's
man.
he talking
It's not
to?
me.
Huh?
Might be talking to himself.
I don't know who he's talking to. I'm gonna come. Hey, Guillermo, can you hear me? Guillermo.
Oh, Isaiah left.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, who is he talking to?
You talking to me?
Yeah, you were just chatting and nobody else was in there.
Isaiah, but I wasn't looking. Isaiah
Nate
was in
was
the chat.
talking to me, and I'm like, who's Guillermo talking to?
I was talking to Isaiah, but I wasn't looking in the chat. Isaiah, internet messes up, and he was responding. I looked up, and then all of a sudden, I see you just laughing, and I was like, wait, oh crap, Isaiah, like I'm here talking to myself. It's Isaiah's fault, man. I'm not paying attention to the screen, so my bad about that.
Hey, did you at all? I know I did not. I had no interest at all. Did you have any interest in Reggie Jackson?
Nah. I'm good on Reggie Jackson. Nah. Dude had a chance to show what he could do. Reggie Jackson is what he is. He's a scoring point guard and he's a ball in his hands. He's not dynamic. That's why now because I mean, look what happened with the Thunder. And I think even with the Thunder, it was almost like a jealousy thing, right? Like, oh, I gotta show and prove. And that's why there was so much like friction between him, Westbrook, and I think KD and us. And he's just one of those players where, yeah, he got his money, he got comfortable, and you know, we don't need that for the Knicks, man. We already have enough Me Too. I don't really care. I would say not enough, but we don't need that. You know what I mean? So I'm good.
I hear you.
And the Lakers are desperate. The Clippers and Lakers are desperate to get depth. Like it's like a war out there. Like they'll acquire anything. They might acquire Mo Harkless. He might not see 1 minute on the floor. He might see average 3 minutes or whatever in the playoffs. Like you know what I mean? So yeah, let them fight for. Scraps,
I was just wondering, if there was anybody looking and saying, yeah, we should get Reggie Jackson. I've never really been a Reggie Jackson fan.
The guy I wanted was Malik Beasley, man, and he got traded. I can't remember who he got traded to, but that was the guy I really wanted, man.
But I never was I mean, ironically, you say, he's, scoring guard, blah, 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 blah. That's what the Knicks say, or the reports have said that the Knicks, they're looking for a scoring guard, a scoring point guard in the draft. So
no. So this is what I don't like, right? And a lot of these guys who do like the mock drafts and stuff, they really don't like. Most people do mock drafts. What I realize, if they're not like a New York beat writer, they usually don't know what the hell they're talking about. So the thing about it is that we don't necessarily. It's not that we need it. We do need a point guard who can score. And thank you, Isaiah, because you had me talking to myself. Fix your internet, man. I look like a psycho. But anyway, whatever. Let me get back to my point, jerk. But anyway, the thing about it is that we need, when you look at guys like Cole Anthony, right? He's a guy who is a scoring guard, but he's not dynamic enough where it's like he could be a Dame Lillard, and his size is a problem, right? So the Knicks need a guy like, look, we need a guy who can score off the pick and rolls, who can score off the dribble, something that we've struggled with, right? And it's not necessarily just getting a scoring point guard. We need a guy who has field vision, court vision to facilitate and get other guys involved. You just heard what Mike Miller was talking about, right? With the spacing thing, right? You know who can also help out with spacing, Sim, in terms of being a floor general? The point guard, where he reminds guys where you don't have to have Mike Miller constantly yelling and telling guys to do this and do that and get back. Usually if you have a guy like Chris Paul, he'll get you in position, and we need a guard who can do it. We need a guard with vision. What are you going to go after a guy like Maxey? You know what I mean, from Kentucky, who's not even doing well anymore. He's been kind of shaky. He's shooting like 29% from three, and I think he's averaging like 13, 15 points. You know what I mean? So when these people say what we need, a lot of these guys really just don't know what the hell they're talking about. But
all right, so look, we got 27 games left, man.
Don't say playoffs.
What is it that you're expecting to see these last 27 games? What are you looking for?
Well, hearing what Mike Miller is saying to the media, I like the fact that he's kind of pissed that these idiots keep asking about, stupid Steve Stout and what was said. I think you're going to see a Mike Miller who's focused. He's going to try to get these guys to play to the best of their ability. You know what I mean? Like, I like Mike Miller. And I think he's going to get these guys to work hard because, again, like you said, there's going to be some guys who probably want to, even though Ellington, these guys said they don't want to leave to go to a contender, I just find it hard to believe. So we'll see in the next few days. But I think you're going to see a guy's going to go all out because he's like, look, I'm probably going to get fired or, removed or whatever. Let me show what I can do for other teams, right? So I think he's going to try to experiment a little bit more. like you said, with spacing, you might see a little bit more off-ball offense. You're gonna see probably more cutting from R.J. Barrett because it's worked for him in the past where I've seen R.J. Barrett excel, cut into the middle of the lane when you had guys like Randall, standing and looking for the pass. I think you're gonna see a lot more of that from Mike Miller. So, I'm not gonna say I'm super excited. I still think we're gonna lose a lot of games, but given that this guy I think is kind of his last legs with his team, I'm excited to. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's gonna try to implement and force these guys to do because I think he wants to get these guys to kind of learn and be like, look, I'm not gonna be here, but some of you guys, look, your NBA careers on I want to say on the tatters, but you guys got to start developing. So, I want to see what you can do.
Yeah, 27 games. About the guys in the buyouts, I think probably the big reason why they're not looking for buyouts, they want all their money.
Yeah, man.
They want all their money.
It's sad. Oh, that's so sad, man.
I mean I'd want all my money too.
Let me not say it's sad. It's just I miss the days where like the championship meant something, man. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of if you're a role player, you would have loved to, even back in the day. I guess it's a little bit different just because Frazier was a little different back then. But to be a role player, like there's no shame in being a role player looking for that championship, right? And to be the guy, maybe you hit you average the 2 or 3 threes a game, you hit the big shot as one of these role players. You know how many role players are, there should be a role player hall of fame. You know what I mean? Like the Robert Horrys and, like guys who they contributed and they were proud to do so for a championship team. But, I guess if you want to get that money, it is what it is. It's cool. But,
yeah, I mean,
I just missed that fire.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But I think, especially someone when you're looking at, I can understand Wayne Ellington, right? Would say, you know what? I'm 32 years old. I'm trying to go to a contender, right? Because my time is ticking. Mo Harkless, 26, still got some years left, and, he might be like, look, I'm going to get my money. I can join a contender next year. You know what I mean? Now, he's owed $11 million this year. Most of the season is gone. How much is he giving up of that? I don't know. First of all, 50% of that $11 million is gone. Still a lot of money, but 50% of that $11 million, is gone. So who knows what a person's financial situation looks like. So, he might be like, I need all my money or I'm cool. I can go to a contender. Who knows? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we'll see what that looks like. And if these guys do, Mo Harkless, Bobby Portis over there said he ain't trying to get bought out. He said,
"Of course not." Bobby Portis, man, he already knows what it is, man. He ain't trying to improve. He ain't trying to look for the glory.
Yeah,
this dude, he good. He got his money. He's in New York. He's at One Oak. He's throwing up bottles. He's good. He doesn't realize it's only going to be probably for 1 year. And at One Oak, once you ain't no longer a star, you ain't gonna be getting in so easily.
But look, that's the thing though. He's getting his $15 million this year. He's like, look, I'm getting my $15 million. I'm getting all my $15 million. You don't want me to come back next year? Cool. So I'm gonna get all my $15 million this year. I'm not doing you no favors. That to me, that's his mindset. I'm not doing you no favors.
But he wouldn't go to a contender,
huh?
But he wouldn't think about going to contender.
I mean, he probably feels like, well, I might not go to a contender this year, but maybe I'll go to one next year. He said, I'm 24 years old. That's what he said. That's what he said. I'm 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about a buyout.
Some people just have no perspective. Like, bruh, Bobby, you know what actually helped Bobby Portis and what actually might get him more money in the future? If he had a buyout and put a good playoff run. Because then they'll be like, oh, maybe it was just the Knicks that suck. This dude, Bobby Portis could really ball. And this dude is just worried about money. Like, I get it. Money is very important. I'm not saying it isn't. But it's like, bro, do you have any foresight to be like, let me think about my future, maybe go into a different team where I can hit a few big threes might help? What if he's a guy where it's like, what if he's a guy, he goes to Lakers and he's the X factor off the bench?
He's a Robert Horry. He could be a Robert Horry. Maybe not defensively, but with a couple long shots. Like, hey, I mean,
Lord Jesus.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. If it was me, I'd really have to sit down and do the math and be like, okay, if I take this buyout, am I gonna get another contract and make that money up? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie. I'd be thinking about it too, especially if I'm 24. If I'm 30, if I'm 32, 33, 34, I probably made some nice money over my lifetime. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm good. At that age.
Well, Sim, put it like this. Perspective, the faster you get perspective, the faster your blessings come. When you were 20, I'm pretty sure you look back on it and you were like, damn, when I was 24, I wish I would have made decisions that would have, had me in a better situation. I'm not even saying, obviously, you're in a good situation now, but obviously you think like, damn, I should have done this when I was 20. So if you get that perspective at the proper age, execute on it. So your future's a lot brighter.
Everyone's perspective is different. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that I think fans don't get about players in the NBA. Some players are really like, I really want this championship. Some players is kind of like, you know what? I'm going to play hard. I'm going to work hard. Championship's not my biggest concern. I just love playing ball and making money playing ball.
And that's what you said, because I mean, that's what what's this dude? I think it was Steven Jackson who said it. He was like, they're guys that they they're gonna work hard. They come in, they want that, and it's very few. But he said most of these guys in NBA, they just happy with their paycheck, get the little Instagram bodies, and they good to go, man. They don't really care about trying. And I miss that. And the saddest thing is that one of the guys who might be the last bastions, and I hate to give this guy credit for it because I just hate his phony nature. You know, if the NBA gets worse than this, obviously guys like Kawhi, you know what I mean? But LeBron James, I got to give him credit where, you know, I'm watching guys like Dame Lillard, you know what I mean? Dame Lillard took all that money to stay in that situation where he knows he's not going to win. And Dame Lillard is one of my favorite players. And it's like, Dame, why? You look, Bradley Beal took that money. Now he's complaining to him, but you knew you weren't going to win.
Well, but you know, the only thing I say about Bradley Beal is he probably took that money feeling like, I can get a trade. Talk about Bradley Beal. He probably felt like, I can get a trade, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I'm going to take this extension so I can get my money, but I can, if I want out, I'm going to demand a trade. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of players that feel like that. But listen, I'm about to get out of here, man. I do want to ask y'all this, though. The fight this weekend. Where you guys at with it? Who you got? Who you got?
I gotta go Wilder. But Fury, man, Fury is so freaking unorthodox, man.
He fights as a mug.
He fights like not Calzaghe. What's a good name? He fights like I want to say Marvin Hagler, because remember Marvin Hagler used to switch it up. He used to go southpaw and unorthodox.
Tyson Fury, he never looks in shape. Now they say that he stopped drinking soda, right? So he can be in shape or whatever. He never looks in shape. But he's just, what is he, from Scotland or something?
He's what they call, I guess, gypsy. So I guess not Scotland. Gypsy. I don't know what it is.
He's
but
a
you know,
gypsy
some people have really good bone structure. When you look at his bone structure, even though it's not the prettiest, there's some people they could carry weight well because bone structure is strong. So it's like he could. And the joints are really there, but I gotta go with Wilder, man. But Wilder to me,
Tyson is like, Tyson Fury, not Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury he's tough. He's from that gypsy culture where fighting is what they do, right? He's from like fighting that's what they grow up and what they're bred to do. He's tough, really tough. Talks a lot of garbage.
I love it.
Deontay Wilder does too, though. He talks a lot. He talks a lot of stuff too. I know you gotta go to
Isaiah. The real one though, because that little thing they tried to do yesterday is fake. Because they actually respect each other, and they both admitted it, before this whole get up, they respect each other. The one I want to see though is any one of them versus that bum ass Anthony Joshua, because this dude Anthony Joshua talks all this trash. He was scared to fight both of them. And now he's talking about he wants to fight both of them when he knows that it'll be hard because of the promotion stuff. Even though I think it's easier with the English guys and whatever. But he was ducking and dodging. Now he has a blemish on his record. Now he wants to talk about, I'm the this and you ain't nothing. Let these two titans fight, and then you take a 60-40 or 70-30 purse or 30-70 because you shouldn't be getting that much like that. And then we'll see. But, you know, salute to both these guys. I think Wilder's going to take it, though, because that power,
Yeah,
if it touches Fury, but Fury woke up from the dead, bro. Like what the?
I mean, you see, like he's tough. He's just a tough dude. Isaiah, what you think?
Hey, Sim, I'm gonna say like this.
What's up with your, you know, like can't even hear you. Can barely hear you.
You can hear me now?
You're like real. You need to put headphones in or something. Well, while we're waiting for that, what do you take? Well, you know, Deontay Wilder said he would have beat Tyson back when Tyson was 1986.
He said
Mike
that?
Tyson now. He said he would have beat Mike Tyson. When Tyson was in his prime.
I didn't hear it. Can I just rebut real quick, Sim? Can I just come in real quick?
What do you think?
First of all, the only stage he probably would have had a chance against Mike Tyson was when Mike Tyson came back out from prison and he wasn't focused. Maybe. But if you're talking about Cus D'Amato Tyson, no.
No way.
Cus D'Amato Tyson, when y'all talk about defense and people talk about Pernell Whitaker, people talk about Floyd Mayweather, go back to him when Cus D'Amato was alive teaching this dude and he was teaching him and he had him on a turtle defense. No. And even him come out of prison, I know he fought some ducks, whatever. No, because Tyson, one thing about Tyson has power, but he was also a boxer. The thing about Wilder, though, as great as the powers he has, look how his feet are so wide. You know what I mean? You can throw now. One thing he does that's impressive that Wilder does is that when you step in, so he did against Ortiz, did against Brazil. When they step in as fighters, he throws a punch to throw him off. He doesn't throw his jab enough, but he throws a punch, the power punch, which is not smart. You should be throwing a jab to throw him off. But he does that. I don't know if it's instinct. I don't know if he taught that. But against Mike Tyson, because of Mike Tyson, no.
The only thing I say, and I was about to bring this up. I see some guys saying it in the chat. Andre Ricardo Bryant says Wilder's 6'7".
What does that mean?
Then he also said Mike Tyson struggled against Lennox Lewis, who was 6'5". Tyson did struggle against some taller guys that could fight.
And also, y'all look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, when he fought Lennox Lewis, where was he in his life? Remember, he was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Holyfield after the Buster Douglas fight, but he lost that fight.
Right.
So, and that was a big surprise. And he was not focused. Like, I understand again, when Mike Tyson was focused, people thought he fought a lot of bums. You could not touch Mike Tyson when he was focused, especially he was under custom. Like, you guys are bugging. Also, when you are a boxer, this is why when you see certain street fights, the guy with a lower center of gravity has an advantage. When you're 6'7", if you have slower fast twitch muscles or less fast twitch muscles, you are going to suffer against a guy who can come up and use more torque and power. I know some of you guys probably never been in a fight. I'm not saying I've been in a bunch of fights. But I know I've been in a few fights where it's like, yeah, that dude, he's a problem. That's why you have to yoke him up, put him to the ground or something like that. Because to me, trying to box a dude, a box at 5'11", 5'7", and he got that yoke and that torque, he could kill you.
Well, of course, you know, being that size, being that height and having that power, you get more power when you have shorter punches than when you have longer punches, right? And that was the thing about Tyson. But he did struggle with guys that were taller, bigger, and could tie him up.
That's not necessarily true, though. He fought a bunch of tall dudes.
He did.
He struggled. He struggled against Holyfield because he fought Holyfield the wrong time, and Holyfield throws a lot.
I get that. But even when he beat some of those taller guys, you could see little stretches. I watched just about every single Tyson fight, and you can see little stretches in some of those fights where, if they tied him up a little bit, he struggled in figuring out, okay, how do I get this guy? And finally he banged the body, and then landed an uppercut. You know what I'm saying?
Because he fell in love with trying to knock him out instead of going to the body. Like I said, when he was with Cus D'Amato, he was focused, body, face, body.
I get it, but he still did. He still did struggle when some taller, bigger guys would get inside, boom, 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 and then tie him up. The ref breaks him up.
Someone said Riddick Bowe was a bum. Yo, Tribor, you my dude. Riddick Bowe became a bum because he couldn't stop eating Burger King. But when Riddick Bowe was
Riddick Bowe was actually tough, man.
Bro, yeah.
He had some. You know, Riddick Bowe had some of his personal issues and what he kidnapped his wife or I don't know something crazy, but something crazy.
You make me laugh. So come on, that's a serious thing, man. Come on.
But he did though. Like, how do you kidnap your wife?
Or
whatever he did.
Drunk. When you get them punches to the head, man, these dudes really. I just hate this. Chaz get me mad, man. Like Mike Tyson, one of my favorite fighters. I wish Mike Tyson would have fought Lennox Lewis because again, Lennox Lewis, good chin, great boxer.
Good chin.
Same thing with
Lennox Lewis had a good
Holyfield.
chin. I actually thought Lennox Lewis had a weak chin.
Why? Because he got what's this dude's name? Hasim Rahman, and then he got knocked out. He got knocked out by. No, he didn't get knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked out 2 times.
No, knocked down. Did he get knocked down or knocked out by Holyfield?
No, I don't think he got knocked. Not Holyfield. You could catch Lennox Lewis. I'm not saying his jaw was glass, but you could catch him. You could catch Lennox Lewis.
You could catch. Yeah, you could catch. And the thing about Wilder, guys, Wilder does not throw his jab. That's why he struggled against Fury. And you know what the funniest thing is? Fury would have won that fight without the knockdown. Fury played around too much. He knew he was up and he stayed. You don't do that against a power puncher. You stay. If you're up, jab, move. That's why Floyd Mayweather. People can say what he is probably top 3, top 5 boxer of all time because when he knows he don't mess around and try to sit there and box you Mexican style. No. Jab, move, jab, move. He throws the power punches in the middle rounds, but jab, keep your way. He frustrates you. Then he makes you make a mistake. That smart. Like Fury, you had it. Like
yeah. I see Riddick. I was about to say Riddick Bowe. And I forgot where he is. Oh, Rare Form. I was about to call Rare Form Riddick Bowe. I don't know what. He said Holyfield had a mean headbutt game.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's why I said this dude's a cheater. Him and who's the executioner?
Man.
Who's the dude? Executioner came from prison. Big head. He's 14. He's like 50. Fought against Calzaghe. What the hell is this guy's name? The boxer executioner.
Bernard Hopkins. Same thing. These big head dudes, when they got that strong bone structure. Cheaters, B-Hop was my man.
Even though I like Bernard Hopkins, though. He fought a little bit too long, but he's my dude, man.
He fought long, but he was still giving them young dudes fits, though.
Yeah, but Sim, you gotta preserve that brain, bro. You gotta preserve that brain,
you're right about that, but he was giving them fits, man. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Hey, can you hear me now, Sim?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna be real with you. I think this fight, man, is gonna be good. I'm gonna go with Wilder. I think Wilder's gonna knock him out this time. It's gonna be a good fight, man. It's either gonna be a knockout or it's gonna be another draw. It's gonna be a tough fight, man. I do agree with you, Guillermo. I think he was playing too much. Tyson Fury was playing way too much. He's taking it too lightly. But it's gonna be a good fight, man. I really can't wait.
Yeah.
Hey, but Sim, I wanted to say one thing before you go. It's either gonna be LaMelo Ball or that Tyrese kid that they got us projected to get.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yo, Sim, I promise you now, Sim, people not talking about him. This kid, this is not what the Knicks wanted, but this is what the Knicks need. As for your next starting point guard, next to RJ Barrett, this kid, Sim, I want you to do some homework, son. I got you to do some homework. You gotta look this kid. You gotta look. Huh?
Did he just call me son?
No, sir. I didn't call you son, sir.
Okay.
Yo, Gary, he's about to flip me like I was a son. Yo, let me tell you something, young man. No, son, but no, seriously though, look up the kid Tyrese. I think you're gonna like him. I think this is the kid you're gonna want. I think this is the kid that you're gonna want for the draft because he's a sophomore. He's smart. He got like a 7-foot wingspan. He's a good point guard. I mean, I either want him or LaMelo. Those two to me are the best point guards in the draft. Everybody else is second to them. I'll be fine with either LaMelo or Tyrese. I'm kind of leaning toward more Tyrese because of his defense. Because with him, RJ, and Frank, if they stay together, you're talking about a dangerous ball moving backcourt, man, with play defense.
Yeah.
But I think Tyrese is going to be your guy. If you look up his stuff, he's going to be your guy.
He has a lot
Well,
of
big
potential.
shout out to Ndodo Mku. He said, if the Knicks believe in RJ's potential, Halliburton is the way to go. Big shout out to you, man. Thank you for the super chat. So, anyway, listen, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. It's 12:12, and I got some stuff I gotta do for a meeting tomorrow, so I gotta get up out of here. You know what I mean? But that fight Saturday is gonna be. It's gonna be a good fight, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good fight. Excited to watch it. I don't know where I'm gonna watch it yet, but I'm gonna watch it somewhere. You know, you guys doing anything special to watch the fight?
Yeah, I'm watching at my boy's place. He already charged me $10 for this.
For real?
And he said, "Bring your own beer." I'm like, "Dude, I'll give you $10." So I don't know, man. This dude's cheap, but he's my dude. So we go over there, and he knows boxing. So we're just gonna talk shit and chill, drink, eat some terrible food. But I'm hyped, man. I haven't been hyped for a fight like this in a while, man. Like I love boxing, man. It's just
yeah, I love boxing. Boxing was my first love before basketball.
Yeah, I used to love boxing. My brother used to always freaking want to practice that and wrestling moves on me. So
yeah, that was my first love before basketball, man. But anyway, I'm out here, man. I'm about to get up out of here so I can do what I got to do. All right, appreciate you, man.
Peace out, y'all.
All right.
All right, y'all.
And my man is trying to get in. Not gonna be able to get in tonight. All right, Isaiah. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys for being here with me. I definitely appreciate it. I gotta go. But I will see you tomorrow night after the game. All right. And, you know, we're going to talk post game. And then after the post game, we'll be on the front stoop, talking a lot on the front, you know, talk about whatever we're going to talk about on the front stoop. Big Freezy said, am I going to be live for the fight? Nah, I'm probably not going to be live for the fight. I probably won't be home. I'll probably, you know, maybe go catch it someplace. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to be live for it. I might do that one of these days, though. You know what I'm saying? You know, for one of these big fights. But anyway, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I will catch you guys on tomorrow night after the game, post game. And then after the post game, we'll be doing a front stoop. I'll catch you guys on the front stoop. We'll talk more about the fight and whatever else comes up. All right? Enjoy your Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your Friday, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow night, man. Have a good one. Peace.
That's the deal.